Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me, Red?
I got you, Matt.
Great, great, great. Well, excited to see you all here once again. We are doing another Twitter space about NFT champions and Celestia Ultimate. Super, super cool. How you doing, Johnny?
Great. Thanks for asking. We got a sunny day here just in Toronto, Canada, and couldn't ask for a better day. So I'm ready to get this started on this. How are you doing?
Yeah, doing fantastic, fantastic. About to catch a flight, in a few hours, and I am looking forward to kind of digging into a lot of these questions from the community at the moment. We've had questions pouring in for the past few days about early access, when, where, what's happening with the trailer, how are the game mechanics work, is everything on time? And there's a lot of that is going to be answered today. So I'm really excited to dig into this. Start with that, and then move into questions from the community.
Awesome. Yeah, a lot of interesting things, little interesting peaks here. So we'll get started. The first question is pretty simple. Everybody wants to know, is early access still on schedule?
Yeah, at the moment, early access is absolutely still on schedule. We are finishing up at the moment. The dev team is finishing up some last minute adjustments. The cool thing about this, and this is a hard piece of info that you all have been asking for, is the team has already started sending out a streamer build to one of the raid events. So there are certainly at the moment people that are getting access to the game right now. Hopefully, over the next few weeks, you're going to start to see some of your favorite crypto YouTubers covering their playthroughs later next week. So we're talking like Thursday, Friday through the weekend, that sort of thing, late next week. If changes are going to take place behind the scenes, maybe there's something that we run into, it's not going to be delayed much further, maybe a week or two, but for now, everything is absolutely on time.
I think you've made a few of us jealous here. There's a follow-up to that question. How is the marketing? Is that still on schedule as well? Hey, Matt, test.
Test. I think I lost you
Gotcha.
there.
So there was a follow-up to question one. Is marketing still on schedule?
Yeah, I mean, marketing is absolutely still on schedule at the moment. There is plenty of content that's going to be coming out over the next little bit. Marketing is coming. It's happening. Just stay patient for now.
Got it. So big question here. When is the official trailer planned to be released?
Yes, the thing that everyone wants to know, when is the trailer coming through? So at the moment, the trailer is going to be coming out anytime now. So we have plenty of content that's coming out within the next few weeks, and the trailer itself will be dropping as we get closer to the early release access. So tentatively, sometime this month, it's coming out, but the exact date has not been confirmed quite yet.
Got it. And so next up is this is an interesting question. Will we have official tournaments between players? And will there be prizes for the winners and ranking?
Yeah, so player versus player is definitely a thing, right? This is something that is being built into the game and it is going to be there. A league ranking system and prizes are definitely possible, but that's realistically something that's going to be implemented after launch. That's not going to be in early access. However, PvP will be available.
Got it. So next question is a two-parter as well. We'll start with the first half. Can we get an idea of the team's vision, the future of NFT Champs concept?
Yeah, okay. So like you said, this is two parts. So this is the first part of that question.
Yeah.
The core idea of NFT Champions is making sure that the game is ready and we're popularizing early access. If you remember, a lot of the the games that have done quite well have been in early access for a long time. We're going to kind of go that route as well, making sure that the game is super, super popular. Constant player base, people that are coming back over and over and over, means a constant flow of interest, right? And so we're adding plenty of playable mechanics that should keep both the traders and players interested. So we're making sure that we're seeing people coming back over and over and over and making sure we're tracking those players coming back before the game is fully released.
Got it. 10-4. And just to follow up with that is so they're explaining, in the white paper, the timeline ends with the early access release. So, is there anything in the pipeline for Q3, Q4 of 2023, and of course 2024?
Yeah, so at the moment, some things have been told to me by the dev team, which is really cool. You might see mobile access, new partnerships, new listings, and ranked tournaments. Those are things that they're going to be targeting moving forward. So lots of fun things there. It just depends on player interest. It depends on where they want to move. But focus, once again, right now is early access. But those are things that they do want to implement eventually.
Yeah, right. One step at a time, right? We want to get through this and then we'll work on next stages. Great. So, next question. How does the new capturing system work and how does it affect gameplay?
Yeah, so that's a fun one, right? Like capturing, you're talking about a game that's similar where you can go out and capture new champions at the moment. And so this is a super super important mechanic that we are going to explain in detail next week. That's going to be some information that's coming out next week. So stay tuned for that. The general basis is the same from what you've been seeing so far. So when you just defeat certain champions, right, in game, they have a random chance to drop an egg, right? Eggs, what do? They hatch. That's something that's going to be definitely detailed a little bit later.
Love it. Love it. Next question. Fusion and evolving looks like it has changed. Can you tell us the new system, how it works?
Yeah, so the fusion system actually has not changed. The fusion system is exactly the same.
Okay.
The system simply raises the level cap of a champion. Sometimes, if the cap level is near the evolution level, when the fusion takes place, the champion also evolves, right? So you have a leveling system and an evolution system that's kind of built into that mechanic.
Great. So this next question is what is the difference between gears and chaos gears? And is it more rare, or will there be less rares, more mints, or is it a variant?
Yeah, so I know within the community there's a little bit of a meme going around about Chaos Gears, and you're going to know Chaos Champions like Chaos Gears will generally come with some sort of stat boost. So, for example, your Chaos Gears is going to be a little bit more powerful than your normal gears, right? In that sense, they're also going to be relatively harder to obtain. So, if you have gears, you're trying to find the difference in the ability to grab one, whether gears or chaos gears is going to be harder. It's going to be rarer. So you're going to want to look to collect those chaos champions when you can.
Awesome. And so we're about halfway through here. Next question is on legendary champions. Do they drop in the game? Can they be captured? Are legendary champions fully evolved? Two-parter there.
Okay, yeah. So more game mechanics here. So, like most other things, legendary champions are actually obtainable through the game by some means. However, and this is a big point, they're generally going to be not generally, they're definitely going to be limited to super rare occasions. Obviously, you don't want to be flooding any sort of increase into the market. You don't want to be having everyone have all of these legendary champions, right? Super rare to obtain, but they are able to be obtained within game.
Okay. And next up is on mechanics as well. What is the difference between exotic champion and a legendary champion?
Yeah, so the idea here is that legendary champions are going to have a much higher rarity than any other tier champions. This is kind of your top level here. And legendary champions are going to be coming with higher base stats. So, you're going to want to get those legendary champions. They're going to be higher than those exotic champions.
Okay. And will common champions be able to compete with the legendaries?
Yes, absolutely, they will. There's a few different strategies that you can implement in this case, right? So there's a few game mechanics that you can look into here. You're looking at player strategy, of course, but you're also looking at different types of attack skills. How does that affect this champion versus that champion? Match stats, rare items, things like that. So if you're able to collect those, yes, absolutely, a more common champion can definitely compete with a legendary champion, depending on all those variables. You want to make the game competitive. You want to be in a situation where everyone can compete.
Yeah, I think that's really important. And follow up here: can the starter champions evolve?
Yeah, so absolutely, all starter champions can evolve. You're going to be able to see a few of these starter evolutions soon, so stay tuned to our Twitter, stay tuned to the Telegram group, and we'll be dropping all this information soon.
Okay, great. Can a free to play player earn NFTs, NFT
Yeah,
drops?
so this is something that's been asked quite a lot. In general, this is not going to be possible. And the reason behind that is that you don't want to basically be flooding the game space and the marketplace with a bunch of champions and reducing the value of everything here. Um, but there might be community events that players can compete in to gain access to those things. So say there's a tournament, you end up winning the tournament, maybe you get rewarded with a legendary or exotic champion, things like that.
Okay. And with that said, how much of the game content can somebody play if they don't want to spend any money? A free player.
Yeah, so absolutely. Once again, like this is a big question with a lot of free to play games. Like you go in, like how far can you progress before it becomes unnecessarily burdensome? And the answer I got from Alex was that players can play through most of the early access without paywalls, right? So you can go through most of the game without being able to do that. But it's going to be a little slower if the player doesn't take advantage of the marketplace. So obviously there's an incentive. Hey, do you want to move faster? Do you want to not have to grind so far? Yeah, okay, cool. You can utilize the marketplace. You can utilize things you actually need to spend champ for example.
Okay. And is there going to be an in-game voice channel?
Um, at the moment, no. There is not an in-game voice channel, but this can be easily implemented. So it's something that they're going to study. Hey, do our players actually want this? Is this something that we're going to implement? Is it worth the extra load on the servers? That sort of thing. And if the answer is yes, that could be implemented relatively easy.
Awesome. I know people like to do little jokes here and there on the voice, so that'd be fun. Next question is: will there be a chaos version for every champion?
So once again, most champions will have a chaos version. Most, and this is because of the actual lore in the game, and we'll talk about that in a second. There's a few questions about that we can review. But yes, there will be a chaos version of almost every champion.
Excellent. Next question is a bit of a mouthful, so bear with me here. The white paper states champions can be bought with Matic and Champ. The transferred Matic or Champ will go into buybacks, burns, and holding rewards. What is the plan for future burns, buybacks, and holding rewards? And then a follow up, which we can get into after.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is another big question that people have been asking over and over and over because part of the white paper was actually going through and saying, okay, there are going to be buybacks and burns. And so the answer from the team here is that there's definitely keen on doing regular buybacks and burns.
Okay.
Community members are interested in this. They've also expressed interest in using this money for additional marketing, things like that. Um, the biggest thing here is that they're liking to keep the buybacks random. And the reason for this is you're trying to keep, basically bots from, getting ahead of these things, right? You're looking for ways to avoid people automatically taking advantage of the system. If there is a regular buyback and burn mechanism, people can go through and say, oh, I know it's going to be at this date, and they can front run most of the community. We don't want that.
Oh, that's a great response there, because the next question does ask, how come more haven't happened? But that does explain it. So moving on to future buybacks. So yeah, okay, you answered that as well, because it will be random and we don't want to give any heads up to bots. Great. So I will move on to the next question. Is the game world free to explore from the get-go, or do we have to follow storyline to access areas? And then if there is a story, what is it? What is the main story?
Yeah, so at the moment, what we have here is that just like almost every other game, you have to progress along the storyline in order to get access to some of these more advanced areas. You finish this storyline, okay, you have this place unlocked, go check it out, right? That's definitely something that we want to continue to encourage, because it helps people get engaged in the game, right? If you have something that you're following along, okay, hey, like, I'm invested in this now. I want to see where my character goes within the storyline, and that's great. The storyline itself, though, is actually centered around a few different things at the moment. Number one, like we announced earlier, there is a storyline talking about the player joining a group called the Emerald Bandits, right? They're fighting against this corrupt world at the moment. There's things in the world that have kind of, gone and taken a turn for the worse. And so you have these champions, right? You have these champions that were fighting for good, they were fighting for honor, they were fighting for all these good things in the world, and they've been corrupted, okay? How do you deal with that as a player? How do you fight against that as a player? How do you go and try to rectify that in game? That's kind of the main theme behind everything that we're doing in game. So how you do that, how you progress along the storyline, will affect how things move in the future.
Oh, that's cool. I love it. And when the main campaign is complete, will there be new missions?
Yeah, absolutely. So plenty of DLC content is going to be available after the early access. So there will be more stuff that's coming post early access, for you to be able to do more than is available initially.
Okay. And last two questions here, Matt. So we have a question on KYC. Will we need that for the marketplace and the game account? And then if
Yeah.
so, which countries are excluded?
Yeah. So at the moment, there's uh, there's no KYC at the moment, but you will need to accept the terms and conditions. So it's going to be on Epic Games. Epic Games itself has its own sort of restrictions on what countries and where the game can be downloaded, that sort of thing. But beyond that, we are not going to be implementing. We as an NFT champions is not going to be implementing an additional KYC.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And finally, last question. The previous winners of the last naming competition have not been notified about their promised NFT reward. When will the team contact the winners?
Yeah, so once again, I've actually been contacted by a few people who this ended up happening to. And the answer from Alex here, there was a few duplicate winners. So the rewards could have already been sent. If not, we will try to get them sent to the right person as soon as possible. So if you are one of those people, send me a message on Telegram, right? I'm not going to send you a message because admins don't message first. But if you send me a message, I will send that to the team and we'll get that rectified ASAP.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt. So that is it for community questions. We can open the floor now. Feel free, everybody, raise your hand if you have a question. We'll put you on stage and get a little discussion going on. Okay, crypto has requested. Let's get that going. Hey, Mozart, thanks for standing up.
Okay, Crypto, you have the floor.
Oh, so sorry, I'm not familiar with the system. Greetings from Austria. I have a question according to the Rarity. Since the champs are coming to the OpenSea platform and it's possible to trade with them, is also the formula how the Rarity is made revealed?
So that is something that's going to be revealed over the next few weeks as we move forward. Rarity is not something I have specifically been told, or exactly what the percentages are of here versus there versus there. How many exotic do we have, the legendary? I don't specifically know that question. Fantastic question. I will send it off to the dev team and try to get answered in our Telegram chat.
Thanks a lot.
Great question. Thanks, Mozart. Is anybody else out there have a question for Matt? Feel free to stand up, raise your hand.
Bueller, anyone?
Oh, we got 2 requests here. Void Star, and then we'll go with Hollywood and Unique. Thanks, guys. Void Star, you're up.
Hello.
Hello. You're up, Void Star.
Yo, my question is about passive rewards. Can we get any more information on what's in those gift boxes? And there was something in the white paper speaking about how Champ that could be used for the NFTs that get purchased. Matic going back into buybacks and burns. It also mentions it going back into passive rewards as well. What does it exactly mean by that?
Yeah, so that's something we're actually working on at the moment to put together something that we can release to the community and say, hey, this is exactly how this works. So it's very clear, but we're not quite done with that yet. So we're working on it. It's coming out. Just needs a little bit more time.
Okay, no worries. I don't know if I have so many. I sent you so many questions, Matt. I'm trying to look for ones which you haven't answered. You answered so many. Oh, Celestia PC, the Twitter account. What's going on there? Why is it following Xbox and PlayStation?
So that I am going to defer and say I am not going to say anything at the moment. I have to keep quiet on that. But one thing I was sent from Alex for now is that champions are taking part in passive rewards. So by having those champions, there will be a way for you to earn passive rewards.
Okay, awesome. And any more info on mounts in game? Will there be like flying mounts? Is there a lot of mounts, or is only specific champions going to be mounts?
Yeah, so that's one of those things we have to kind of hold off on at the moment. I don't have any information from the core team on that, so stay tuned.
Okay. No worries.
Yeah, so a lot of the questions that you sent in, FYI, we tried to get as many of them as possible, but there was I literally had like 3 pages of just like question. So there's only so many that we could get to, and the rest of them were, hey, let's hold off and see. So we just need a little bit more time for some of that. We'll release all that in good time.
Okay, awesome. Appreciate it, man. Cheers.
Absolutely. Cheers. Hollywood, you're up.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hello. Welcome.
Doing great.
Thanks, you guys. So I got 2 questions for you here, Matt. So 2 of the things that got me most excited about the project when I first read the white paper, number 1 was land sales. So I was wondering if you can give us any information on land sales. When when that might be implemented. I know that's not going to be something that's going to be in early access, but when that might be implemented. And then has there been any discussion as to or if there's any details that you can give us about what we could actually do with the land and how that will be incorporated into the game?
Yeah, so at the moment, like you said, that's definitely not an early access thing. As far as looking at potential land sales, that's something that would be beyond, in the next version of any sort of roadmap. So focused on getting the early access out right now, and then that would be along the lines of what I talked earlier about what would come along potentially in quarter 3, quarter 4. I haven't heard anything specifically on that front. So I can't give you any sort of hard information about land sales, but I would just hold off on that, get to early access. At that point, I would assume there would be quite a bit of information once the initial hype dies down of, hey, the game is here, now let's look at that and see how that's going to be implemented.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, I kind of figured with that one. So my second question would be, so the other thing that really got me pumped up when I was reading the original white paper was there was a section where it was saying that you could actually challenge other players to a battle for ownership of NFTs. So you're pretty much battling it out for pink slips of the NFTs. And that got me super pumped up because, I can imagine the rush and intensity of a battle like that if you're putting NFTs on the line that you've been working hours to evolve. So I was just wondering, is that still a plan to have in the game?
Yeah, so at the moment, player versus player battles will be available during early access. I am guessing, and this is just a guess on my part, that's not going to be available during early access. That's something I do not know for sure, but that is something I'm guessing at. And so moving forward, once again, that's something that we would like to potentially implement. If it's in the white paper, the team is working towards it. It's just a question of, what takes priority, what comes first, right? As you well all know, dev team is slammed right now, and everything that we're doing takes time. So, yes, player versus player. When actual NFT wagering, if there is that, is going to happen, I don't have an answer for you on that side.
No worries. Thanks. Thanks for the time, Matt. Last question, and I'm out of here. When Moon.
I think Hollywood, you cut out.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Nope, I think we lost you. One more time.
My last question was when Moon.
When Moon. Moon is when you decide Moon will be, right? That's one of those things where, we are all Moon. And so when does that happen? It's when we decide it happens.
I think we'll send Hollywood a lunar calendar. Trevor, you're up.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes, we can.
Awesome.
You're up, Trevor.
Hey, what's up, guys? I wasn't planning on calling in today. I was gonna listen. I think I missed the first couple minutes, so my apologies if this is redundant or you guys already spoke on this. The item shop or the marketplace that you guys showed in one of the gameplay videos, that coin, is that correlated at all with the champ token, or is that something different like the Web 2 as well? Is that something that can be bought with a champ token, or is it different, or is there like another fiat on ramp for that? And if there is a fiat on ramp, would that be ever kind of channeled into the champ token at all?
Yeah, so just to answer this question a little bit, there are going to be more token mechanics coming soon, but as far as the actual champ token being used in that context, let's think about other games right out there. You generally have two types of tokens in any sort of massive online game, just to make sure you're dealing with hyperinflation, right? So I don't have specific information about how that token correlates to the champ token. But I do know we'll be releasing that information in the next few weeks. Talking about how the mechanics work on that front, because I know that's super important about making sure that you're driving value to the token. How does the token work in game? Things like that. So it's being worked on. Just needs a little bit more time.
Awesome, great. And then one final thing is, our previous roadmap has always said growth and exposure. We expect X amount of people through these months and yada yada. I know we got like a strong 2-week marketing campaign coming on, but how strong are we going to just try to keep the momentum going outside of that range itself, just because we've been so hindered in the aspect of growth from the beginning? So I know like naturally, organically, and word of mouth is probably the best way to do it, but you always still want to keep that little push and maybe keeping that snowball growing if we could.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's a completely fair and very good question. When you're dealing with marketing with a project like this, right, it's hard to market for something that doesn't exist, right? It's hard to market for something that you don't have, something you can play, right? What we're doing here, right, is trying to bring people into a game. And if there's no game, right, what are you marketing for? And so we're in a position right now where the streaming build has been sent out to streamers at the moment. End of next week, you're going to start seeing, hopefully, people playing this. So, that's why marketing is happening now. It's because the early access build and the streaming build is starting to go out to people. And so you're going to see a push there, and you're going to see a push past that. And once it's on the Epic Game Store, right, like, holy heck, right, that's super cool. People are getting exposed that way. So this all kind of snowballs. And, like, where we're at right now is just the beginning. And that's why the team has waited for so long. It's because, you had to get the game, and we're at that point. The game is here, right? It's coming, right? People have it in their hands.
Absolutely. And that's what I'm super stoked about too, is because we already see how well Alex does with quality of making a game. And it's just that you got to check the boxes off in order. So once he gets everything done that he's satisfied with, I guess he could focus his attention more on the exposure aspect moving forward. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And fantastic question once again. Okay, Manny, I think you're up.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep, we can
Yep.
hear you.
Yeah, I was just wondering about how the team will manage the balancing of the game. I don't know if that question has been asked already. I joined a little late, but yeah, about the balance of the system on attacks, on counters, and even items. I don't know how is the approach on it.
Yeah, so with the balance in the game, I mean, Alex and Sigma Studios has been involved in some pretty high-profile stuff, high-profile builds for other games, and I don't think that's going to be a huge issue moving forward. Obviously, with any sort of game, you might come out with something that might break the meta, right? And so when you have something that breaks the meta, you got to find a way to rebalance the meta, right? And there would be no reason why they can't take care of that. The current team can't take care of it. It dealt with that in other games. So there will be a rebalancing, I'm guessing, at some points. It's just a matter of what breaks when, and then there has to be an appropriate action taken. So no issue there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Marco, you're up.
Marcus, you got the floor, bud.
Marcus, you're up.
Well, it looks like Marcus might not be hearing us or has a poor connection. Is there?
Hello, Marcus.
Yeah, I don't think Marcus can hear us, Matt.
Red.
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Test. Hey, guys.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Can you hear
Okay,
Matt?
there we go. So Marcus, you're up.
No, that was Mozart there. We got
Sorry,
William.
that was me. It was me answering Trevor, yeah.
Oh, no worries. Looks like we have one more. William, where did you go? Okay, guess not. Anyway, last chance for questions. If you have questions, please request to speak at the moment. I know we've dropped a lot of information here regarding early access, regarding game mechanics, regarding a lot of the things you've been asking. We didn't get to everything. I know we didn't. There was just too many questions at the moment. So if you want to speak, if you have a question that you want to additionally ask, please jump up on stage right now. Please request to speak, and we'll get you up. Okay, well, if that's it, everyone, thank you so much for showing up. This has been fantastic. Thank you for the engagement, the community coming through, answering or asking all of these questions, giving us a chance to answer all of the things that were bugging you in your mind that you wanted to know about the game. And at the moment, super, super cool. We're getting there. Early access is coming. You're going to see some your favorite crypto YouTubers playing this in the next few weeks. So super stoked. Talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.
Great stuff, Matt. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.